welcome to the UGC showcase for BlizzConline. My name is Loco and I've been playing strategy games pretty much my entire life, and over the last decade or so, I've been playing StarCraft II pretty much every single day. Now, whenever I talk to people about either StarCraft II or Warcraft III, they will oftentimes think of either the campaign that they may have played once upon a time, or maybe even the esports side of things. Now, obviously, both the campaign and esports, they're massive parts of both StarCraft and Warcraft. However, there's tons of people that log in every day just to play the different arcade games and the different custom games that are available. I played tons of custom games, especially throughout high school myself. We used to do a lot of LAN parties, and we played especially a lot of tower defense all throughout the night. Now, using the official tools that Blizzard has made available, map developers can easily create their own custom games and then share them in either StarCraft II or Warcraft III. There's a huge variety of games available, and today I want to share a few of them with you. Alright, so the very first arcade game that I want to share with you is called Direct Strike. This is one of the most popular arcade games in StarCraft II and has been for many years on the different servers that are available. I like to personally play some Direct Strike usually right before my ladder sessions. So usually in the day or at the beginning of every day, I start off with some Direct Strike just to get into the StarCraft mood and to, prepare myself for the ladder games. Let's go ahead and give the allies as well as the opponents the GLHF as I try to guide you through the rules of this game mode. So it's pretty self-explanatory. We as a team end up winning if we destroy the opponent's nexus, and we lose if they manage to kill our planetary fortress. So what we gotta try and do is we need to produce units to try and make their way towards the other side of the map. Now, I've decided to go ahead and pick Zerg over here, so I can produce a couple of these queens right now. They're really strong. Now, as of right now, we only have the basic units available, but as we go through the game, you'll see that more and more advanced units will become available as well. Now, in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see a timer that's currently counting down. And basically, when it hits 0, all of the units in the rectangle over here, in my rectangle, will be transported towards the rectangle here in the center, and they will then attack move towards the other side of the map. Now, in a way, this is like the original auto-battler before auto-battlers were really even a thing, because the units will use all of their different abilities as we go through this as well. So you'll see right here, as the queens get hurt, they will use their transfusion ability without me doing anything. Right, so you can see that they're casting all of their own skills themselves. Now, one unit that's really good against these Hellbats would be the Roach. So, well, let me add on one more queen just for symmetry's sake, because I know it's going to upset some people otherwise. Let me add in a couple of Roaches right here in front of the queens as well. Now, queens, they don't have any direct unit upgrades. However, Roaches do have different researches available, and these are just coming from the multiplayer version of StarCraft II. So I can get Glial Reconstitution, which I can get for my Roaches right now. Let me add one more, which is Roach Speed, and then I can also get Tunneling Claws, which enables the Roaches to move while burrowed. Alrighty. So, with the next wave spawning in about a second, my units over here will be joined by the Roaches as well, and they should be pretty good against my opponent's Hellbats. So let's see here how that battle is going to go. Now, obviously, units will only be added on when the counter adds down to 0 or counts down to 0, but I can add additional upgrades that will get into effect right away. So you can see right now my Roaches are tanking the damage over here, and then the queens in the back can actually heal up the Roaches in the front as well. So queens can transfuse anything that's biological, and every single Zerg unit is biological. So that way you can see that we're doing quite well right here in the battle. Even though considering the fact that this is, well, Darth Gabriel's Hellbat right now, and Drone rushed his queen. So we were basically playing some leftover units right there, a 2 versus 1, and we were doing quite well. Alright, so we're already pushing forward. Now, let me introduce my teammates real quick. There's Linus over here, who has decided to play with the Protoss pieces. And then we have Nuke here, who's playing a very beautiful formation, but he is playing Terran. Let me add on a couple more units. I found that the queens especially are fantastic in the earlier stages of the game, because they can carry really well throughout the later stages as well. As the bigger units will come out, they can obviously also use a bit of healing. Let's get the Evolve Ground Carapace upgrade level 1 as well, just so my units are going to be slightly more tanky. Alrighty, now there's a couple ways in which you can tech up in this game. So first off, you can get upgrades for your units and therefore make them more powerful, right? However, I can also upgrade to tier 2 over here. I can right-click it, so it's just going to start researching it. There it is. When I have enough minerals available, which, by the way, you can see right over here in the top section of the screen. it will unlock a different row of units. So currently I can make the Zergling, the Baneling, the Roach, and then the Queen. But you'll see when this research is done that I will have access right here to the second row of units as well, which will open up a variety of things that I can do. And I want to decide on what I'm going to actually be building, depending on what I see the opponents building as well. So since the pacing of the game is a little bit differently right now, we're now facing a bunch of Terran Marines and Marauders. Looks like there's an Immortal in the mix here for Sergeant Lewis, who's playing Protoss, but it looks like we may actually be able to destroy the enemy cannon. This is their first line of defense, and the next one is going to be the Nexus itself. Everyone on the team right now gets a nice little resource boost as well, and I think I'm personally going to start adding on a couple of Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts seem to be really good, especially when you're in a good position and you have time to get quite a few of these. They're not particularly cheap, but they're really powerful when you can get at least, I would say, like 6 or so of them going. So in this first wave before the next one will spawn, I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 of them. And basically what these units do is that they will send the Locust forward as well. And hopefully we keep our front units alive here for long enough that they can get multiple Locust waves out here as well. Now, besides the fact that we can tech up and get more powerful units going, it's also worth noting that we can increase our income. So first off, there is a team-wide bonus if we are controlling the center. So you can see right now, actually, maybe my Swarm Host transition wasn't that good of an idea. The Marauders and the Immortal right over here in the back are getting a lot of work done. Although I do get a second wave off right now, so maybe it's okay. Yeah, I think we're going to actually double down on going the Swarm Host route right now, because they're actually still alive by the time that Linus's Protoss units come along as well. But we can improve our income first off, so a team-wide bonus by grabbing the center of the map. Secondly, you can build an extractor or like a gas mining structure on top of a mineral field, which normally wouldn't really fly in StarCraft II. But there's 4 of those mineral fields available, and they will basically give you a permanent passive income boost. So income is basically generated right here as the game progresses. So you can see right here, if I build my second extractor, I will gain 0.5 minerals per second, and this will take 7.5 minutes to pay for itself. So it's a balance you're trying to strike together with your teammates. On whether or not you should be taking an additional gas. So let's see how this fight is going to go right now. It's still not that great. Maybe I should add on some more roaches here in the front, just so we can get rid of those fire bets or hell bets of the opponent. That way my Locust can hopefully get some more work done. That would be nice. But it looks like we are pushing, through the center reasonably smoothly right now. And maybe we should capitalize on this by making an additional extractor here and therefore permanently increase our income. Now, obviously, the gamble is that if I'm spending 225 minerals right now on things that are going to benefit me but not the team, right? Because I'm not really adding on a whole lot of units right now. It might mean that the opponents are going to be able to push us past the halfway point, and therefore, obviously, they will get the team-wide bonus. So there's actually some strategy involved here as well, in the sense that you need to decide what units you want to be countering and how you want to be approaching the game. So this game has been made by an author called Taya, or I don't know exactly how you're supposed to be pronouncing it, but he's been putting out content for this game mode for many, many years, and there's even some tournaments happening in Direct Strike as well, which is just awesome. You know what? I gotta say, my Swarm Hosts are doing really well, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add on a couple more. I think we may be able to squeeze out 1 or 2 more before the next timer counts down to 0, which would be fantastic. There's also, by the way, a little bit of a progress bar right there above the gas, so you can see when it's paid for itself. Yeah, always a nice thing to keep in mind. Now, besides the regular StarCraft races that we are playing with right now, there's also the StarCraft II co-op version of this game mode, which is really fun as well. That's the one I personally like to play quite a bit, where you don't actually play with Terran, Zerg, and Protoss, but instead you play with, for example, Stetman, or for example, Raynor, right? Like the different StarCraft heroes that are also available in co-op, which, yeah, is quite a lot of fun as well, and it creates a lot more of a dynamic, because, you know, there's not just going to be 3 races, but there's, I don't know, like a dozen or so different commanders that you can choose from. And they all have different units and different abilities and different upgrades and all that as well. So there's a lot of variety going on. Now, if you want to go ahead and give this game mode a try yourself as well, you can simply install StarCraft II. It's a free-to-play game. And head on over to the arcade. Just create a lobby. I mean, it's pretty much always going to be near the top of the currently most played games, because, like I said, it's one of the most popular game modes. All right, so let's see how this game is going to progress, though. So I've decided to tech up to tier 3, which is going to give me access right here to the final tier of units. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make maybe a couple of Vipers. Can I get a second one? Did I get the second one in time? No, not quite. When it comes to selling units, if a unit has already survived or been out on a wave, you can sell it, but it's gonna be at 70% of the unit's cost. However, I can still sell the Viper for full cost because it wasn't actually in the battle just yet. It just barely didn't make the timer. Instead, I want to be spending that money right now on upgrades. So maybe we can destroy the opponent's Nexus and therefore obtain the victory. There it is. GG. That means that we have indeed won this match. So one thing that I always like to look at as well is that at the end of the game, there's a nice little overview tab. So you can see how well you did compared to your allies, how much damage you dealt and how much damage you took and how much experience you've gained as well. There's a lot of additional things that you can check out in Direct Strike, but I can highly recommend it. Alright, so let's do one more round of Direct Strike just to show you a bit of variety. This time around, we're still doing a 3 versus 3, but we're gonna be playing with the co-op commanders instead. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the different co-op commanders that are available, and I've decided that I'm gonna be picking Mr. Tygus. Now, Tygus, he plays very differently in StarCraft II co-op from the different commanders as well, and obviously that means he also plays differently right here in Direct Strike. So Tygus has a bunch of his outlaw friends available, so I can only make 9 different units right here in total, as well as apparently a free auto turret. Now this time around, we have spawned in the bottom left-hand corner, so we gotta protect the Nexus and we gotta destroy our planetary. It's a little bit different than what we were looking at earlier. Anyways, let's have a look at what the allies are playing. So over here we have, let me actually get a gas. We have Alarak, so Drone Rush is playing Alarak, and my other ally over here, Linus, who's he playing? He's playing Artanis. So some of the commanders can indeed go on the battlefield themselves and others cannot. Now, even though I can only make a handful of different units here, I do have the ability right now to upgrade each individual unit. So for example, I mean, Tygus is still going to town, I think. There he goes. I can improve his implosion core over here, all right? So, or I can improve his shredder grenade apparently with the implosion core. It can pull affected units to the center of the area of effect, which is awesome. We can improve the straight up damage of the grenade ability that he throws as well, and I can basically improve or decrease the armor, I guess, so improve the damage output of our other allies as well. I'm not gonna get the most expensive upgrade on him just yet. There's also actually one over here on the right that I won't have access to until much later on into Direct Strike. But let's see what the opponents are doing first and foremost before we commit a whole lot of resources. Now, since I have only access to a few units, they are very expensive. So you can see these are 650 minerals each. I gotta be a little bit more careful with where I'm spending my money. Okay, so there's a cloak unit available. It's a little hard to see. Tygus apparently can't see it either. That means I need to get the Flash Force GDM visor on either Vega, Nux, or Lieutenant Nikara. Now, I have a couple of them here available. I think I'm going to be going to spend my money right here on Nux. Nux has a very powerful ability called Ultrasonic Pulse. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a global upgrade right here for all of these different heroes, like Vega, Nux, and Lieutenant Nikara. And it makes them essentially detectors. Now, once again, Nux himself has a bunch of different upgrades that can be improved upon as well. And I think he works together really nicely right here with Tygus, because Tygus, his grenade will pull units towards the center. And then obviously a storm straight on top of it would make it very powerful as well. It's kind of like the psionic storm ability from the multiplayer version of StarCraft II from the High Templar. Okay, so let's see how this goes right now. The cloak unit should show up here in just a second, and I think Tygus should be able to kill him pretty easily. There we go. Not bad at all. Now you can see that they're teleporting all over the screen, which is a little bit annoying. Probably not a bad idea, actually, for us to get some... oh, they've decided to split up. Well, I don't have any control over them, so there's not much I can do. But I think we might want to add a healer here into the mix very shortly as well. But for now, let's get some more upgrades. Increases duration, increases the damage output. That sounds pretty good. Increases the radius as well. We might want to save that until a little bit later, when there's some more units out on the battlefield. And maybe save up for either Lieutenant Nikara or a Rattlesnake. Both of these have some powerful healing abilities. I know Nikara especially is very powerful if you want to stick to only a handful of different outlaws here. I'm going to go ahead and add on Lieutenant Nikara. So Nikara has... Where is it? She has this like burst healing ability. There you go. So allows Lieutenant Nikara to cast super heal on 2 targets at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and just right-click that, meaning that it will be bought as soon as I have 400 minerals available. And I think that's going to really make a significant improvement over here. We actually were extremely close to destroying their bunker, which would have been nice. Maybe, though, we can actually continue pushing over here. But you can see the dynamic, right? Like, the amount of different units and the amount of different commanders available basically creates a different game every single time. So there it is, by the way. We destroyed the bunker, which is fantastic. I want to take this opportunity right now to get the refinery, the second one, going as well, which usually is a good moment to go ahead and do so right after you've gotten some additional money here to push our advantage even more. It's just like regular StarCraft II, where oftentimes if you're playing a 1 versus 1 match, when you're ahead and you want to push the advantage, rather than trying to go all out and obtain the victory right then and there, it's usually a good idea to expand instead. So in a way, getting an extra refinery is very similar to getting an extra expansion going. Just because it, you know, it allows you to win in the long run, right? You make the calculated best move. I mean, you can try and go for an all-in as well, but that makes it an all-in, right? And that might not necessarily be what you're looking for. Anyways, so let me just go ahead and get this upgrade here as well. I mean, I tend to, honestly, whenever I play Tigers, I tend to just get all of the different upgrades. Just because it's not a bad idea. We can increase the radius right now, too. Let's see how these will go across the map at this point. Now, there's also the outlaw weapon upgrades. And rather than these going to only +3, I think they go all the way up to like +5, I want to say. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, the map developer, the author of this game, he updates the maps regularly. So, he makes improvements to the games all the time. And I know there's been quite a few changes as far as upgrades go over the years. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what version of it is currently being run. That didn't really seem that great for me, to be completely honest with you. Let me go ahead and grab some of these upgrades for now. So there's also the ITCE triggers, which is very similar to me improving the detector ability for both Lieutenant Nikara right here and then also Nux. It will increase the attack speed of Tygus, Crooked Sam, and Sirius by 25%, which is... it's a ton. It's a whole lot. Alright. Now you can see right here that the opposing Tygus, who's being played by Nuke, has decided to go for Cannonball. Cannonball is very powerful because he can respawn multiple times. You know what? And I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's destroying me over here. I wonder if it's a good idea for me to get my own Cannonball going. I could also get Crooked Sam. Crooked Sam is very powerful when it comes to dealing with single targets, so adept at dealing heavy damage against individual targets. And obviously, if we're fighting primarily the opponent's Tygus, I mean, he's going to have only a handful of units. Maybe Crooked Sam is not so bad of an addition. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. It's expensive to get another unit going here, but it'll be fine. So increases the damage of the demolition charge. So basically what he does, he throws like a demolition charge on the opponent. By 100%, seems pretty good. Stunts and disables the detection of units hit by the demolition charge. Prevents Crooked Sam from taking any damage and increases his movement speed. Right. I think we'll prioritize this one here for now. See how it goes. Okay. So here's Crooked Sam. He's the Reaper guy. He's got himself the G7 charges over here as well. Now, as units get pushed around the map, right, and as the game progresses, you can see that we're going to start facing different opponents. And we're going to be doing better against certain, and, like, worse against other opponents as well. So, right there, for example, I added Sam into the mix, but we weren't fighting Tygus' units anymore because they pushed us over the half of the map. And that meant that my ally that came before me actually got to deal with Tygus' units instead. So maybe, even though, like, you know, going for Crooked Sam is a good idea against Tygus, he's not going to be that good of an idea here in general as the game progresses. We're going to be facing a lot of other people as well. Alright. Now, let's finish upgrading the units that we have for now. Yeah, I still need quite a few resources for that, so I'm just going to right-click all of them. Increases basically the existing units right now significantly as well. Now, you can see that each and every one of my outlaws over here has a fourth ability that can be researched too. So increases Tygus' weapon damage by 20% for each outlaw in his immediate vicinity. That's huge, right? That makes his damage output very, very, very good and very, very strong. In order to get that, I have to be at tier 3. Now, the tiers are basically these over here. I need to upgrade to tier 2 first off, which is going to cost me 250 minerals. And then also to tier 3. So we're going to be, yeah, committing quite a few resources if you want to be taking that time to level all the way up to level 3 and get those final upgrades for my units. So it's always a question on whether or not you should actually be doing that or if you should be, you know, getting more of the same. Like, that's actually a little bit strange, I suppose, in Direct Strike. I can get multiple Lieutenant Nikaras. Yeah, it is what it is. Otherwise, obviously, if the game would go on for a very long time and you have all the different outlaws, you literally wouldn't be able to produce anything else. Other than, I guess, a bunch of different upgrades. Anyway. Alright, so that was a fantastic battle right there for Lioness. Using all of those zealots right here that Artanis has at his disposal to, well, basically swing their blades around and get rid of all of those weak Terran units. That being said, though, the strong Terran units right now are coming up, and you can see Artanis is not doing nearly as well against that. Alarak is actually pretty cool as well. So Alarak, he has got a very unique ability in both co-op as well as in Direct Strike, in the sense that he can actually consume the health of his own supplicants. So he's got these really cheap units right here in front, and basically whenever he's about to die, he will consume one of them instead. And it obviously keeps him alive for a lot longer, and it can continue to help him cast additional spells as well going forward. If you can keep him alive, like if you make a lot of supplicants, he basically never dies. But then obviously you're just playing like one hero commander with a whole lot of small units that are trying to keep that one hero commander alive. It's a bit shaky. I found especially his Stalker units to be very powerful, so they're called Slayers. These guys deal a ton of damage, especially if you have quite a few of them. Alright. Do you think it's time for us to start teching up? I think so. I would like to get the tier 3 abilities right here on my heroes. They're super powerful, so I think we need to, yeah, we need to get them. So, Lieutenant Nikara can surround a target-friendly unit with a shield that can absorb damage, okay. All nearby outlaws have their primary ability charge-up times and cooldowns decreased by 20%. That's huge. Reduces the charge-up time of Demolition Charge, so that's his strong single-target spell, by 2.1 seconds each time Crooked Sam attacks. So basically, it's gonna never be on cooldown is what it comes down to, because he attacked pretty quickly. So let's just... I think we're gonna go straight into tier 3 as well. Maybe that's a bit greedy. Do you think we should make a bit of a stop maybe and get these upgrades first? Yeah, probably. Ah, you know what. Who cares? Just tech up. Alright, so we're at tier 3. I've got 700 something minerals. We're still pushing them on their side of the map, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and get these big late game improvements right here for all of my units. And then I think we're gonna add someone new into the mix as well. I might want to go up to like +2/+2. Yeah, let's just do that. Maybe I could get a third gas as well to permanently increase my income. That's probably not a bad idea either. But let's see how much more powerful my units are going to be now, as they will spawn in about 15 seconds time. Look at the crew. They're ready to go. Alright, here they come. You can see one of my allies, Artanis, has also activated his shield ability. So all of these units are going to be glowing right over here for at least a little bit. Means that they're going to be able to stay alive much easier. You can see she actually used her own bubble ability on herself. Even though it seemed like we were going up against an absolutely massive force there with only a handful of units. Oh my god, did you see that? Crooked Sam just made short work right there of a couple of Ultralisks. Pretty sure that was him anyway. All of a sudden, we are pushing very, very aggressively. Alright, let's just continue getting these upgrades. I've just right-clicked them, so it basically just keeps upgrading here. Because maybe we can even push for the victory. So those tier 3 improvements are so noticeable. And there we go. I think that means, indeed, that they're planetary. Get shut down, and with that, we once more obtain the victory. Nice. Alright, so next up I want to share with you a game called When Darkness Falls. And this game is very different from Direct Strike, as you'll see in just a little bit. It's made by the author Nightma Doors, who has put in a ton of work. I'm thoroughly impressed with what he has come up with. Now, as you may have already noticed, we're in a main menu right over here. I'm grouped up together with Rextor and Rushy, who are going to be my teammates in this particular game. But just to clarify, the way that this goes, right? I'm within StarCraft II, I go to the StarCraft Arcade, and I search When Darkness Falls. I start up the game, And then I get thrown into this main menu instead. So not only did the game receive, you know, very significant changes, like I said, as we'll see in just a little bit, but there's even a main menu and a completely customized UI as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and select new game, and we'll be going with Stimpak for now. In the aftermath of the chaos resulting from the invasion of the feral Zerg, the defensive army of the mining colony has been almost entirely massacred. The evacuation of people and resources is still ongoing. The remnants of the Terran forces are fiercely defending the capital city, desperately waiting for support. A huge Zerg horde is heading towards the capital and will reach the city at the latest within 8 days. The whole colony is rapidly consumed by the terrifying, hungry, and ruthless darkness. Those who managed to escape from fallen settlements, but their way to the capital was cut off by the Zerg, created small camps high in the mountains. United by hope, they are waiting to be saved before the darkness falls. So this reminds me a lot of the original StarCraft campaign. Anyways, here we go. It's time for day number 1. So the way that this game works is that there is an attacking phase and a defending phase. So initially, we'll be sending troops onto missions. No, I've played this before, we're good. We'll be sending troops onto missions, and we want to be defending our base at home as well. So this over here is my workshop. This is my allies' workshop, or, well, both of them. And I'll be able to research different improvements for my squad. There's a couple of other structures that we can make use of as well, but for now, let us head on over to the headquarters and look at the squad manager. So these are my troops for the time being. There's Ruth Edwards, all right. We have Daryl Wright, who's a Marine, and then we have Adam Carter. As you can see, at this point, they all have the very basic gear, and we don't really have any active and passive gear slots on them at all. Now, what we can go ahead and do is we can do a bunch of research over here in our workshop, and I can change the loadout of my troops. So say, for example, I want to improve their armor, or I want to change up their weapons or their active gears. I can go ahead and do so right over here. So I can give them shotguns. I can make the Torrent SR9. It's a Terran shotgun firing adamantine shots into a conical volume. All right, let's go ahead and spend a technology point on that. I've still got one available, so let's go ahead and do so. And then I can go to the crafting menu and create new weapons for my troops. So since I just researched shotgun, I've got, as you can see, 30 supplies right here and 20 Vespine. I can go ahead and make one of those shotguns, which I think is probably a good idea. And then if I can, I'll also go ahead and I think make one refined Gauss rifle. All right, there we go. That should be fine. Now what I can do is go back to my squad and equip these different weapons that I just got on the different units. So this changes their loadout entirely. The graphic over here changes as well. Like, the amount of work that this must have been is insane. But anyways, Daryl over here now has a shotgun. I'm gonna be changing the standard Gauss rifle over here on Adam to a refined Gauss rifle, as I think we'll leave him at home. So, like I said, we have to commit units to either attacking or defending, right? So I think for now, I'm gonna be leaving Adam to defend, and then we'll attack with the other two, right? So we're bringing Ruth onto a mission, and then also Daryl. Now I can set that up right over here. So this little attacking icon over here means that they're going to be attacking and that Adam is going to be defending. Now, one nice thing actually that I like about this game mode quite a bit is the fact that you can customize your units. So say, for example, you feel very strongly about, I don't know, the Zerg, which I do, in case you're unfamiliar. I love the Zerg. Even though we're playing Terrans right now, it's a little bit weird maybe. We can change the color over here of our decal. What should we go with? Something a little bit blue? That looks pretty cool. And then when we head on over to our squad manager, you can see that Daryl over here right now has a Zerg decal on his shoulder and its color changed as well. Really, really awesome. Now, one thing that we still need to do is that we need to head on over to the people manager and we need to be recruiting someone new. So I can recruit Sarah over here and I can choose what we would like her to be. I think I'll make her class a medic, so she's going to be a support infantry. I think that about sums up everything that we need to do. I mean, we could trade with our allies as well if we really want to. We can heal up, obviously, but since we haven't gone on any missions yet, we don't have to do that. I think it is time for us to get ready to go for the very first mission. So we can see an overview right here of the current equipment that we have as well. Pretty clean. Should be good. All right, so Not far to the south, there is a place where we can get a valuable equipment. A satellite fell down near the ravine, shut down my mutalisks above the orbit. It contains the data we need and access codes to the second satellite. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose this mission and ready up. Alrighty, so here we go. It's time for mission number 1. Here's our objectives. We need to salvage data from the crashed satellite. So there's a crashed satellite right over here. Satellite shut down by the Zerg Mutalisks. And basically we need to protect this SCV. This is a neutral unit. We can zoom in very far, by the way, which is just awesome. But we need to protect the SCV so it can actually finish the extraction. So that's our main thing. We need to salvage all equipment containers in the area. We need to find and rescue civilians. And of course, we need to be protecting the SCV as well. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the different units that I've got selected right now. So they have attack, I have hold position, I've got patrol, which allows me to patrol them back and forth. I've got my lights right over here. So this increases my sight. Ooh, there's a mutalisk right over there. I can turn on the lights, which increases the sight of my units, but it also makes my units easier to spot by the enemy. There's the accurate shot. There's the spellcaster mode that basically allows me to cast spells right here on my specialist. I mean, you can see even, like, she's changing things, right? So there's a Zergling. But you can see whenever I activate spellcaster mode, she actually puts her shotgun, or sorry, her Gauss rifle on her back. I'm very impressed. The amount of work that this must have been, and you can see the variety of game modes that are available. So there's an infested marine. Looks like Rextor over here has decided to take up shelter right behind the wall here. It's probably a good idea. All right. So my shotgun is pretty strong. Ooh, apparently it can one-shot Zerglings, which is awesome.
Go. Like a ghost in the channel secure.
But we do need to be careful that we don't overextend. Now, obviously, this is the first mission, so it's probably not going to be the hardest one.
Understood.
So extraction is nearly done.
Executing.
I'm going to go ahead and scout ahead a little bit.
Copy that.
There's the civilians, it looks like. So they're just standing around.
Commencing operations.
But the graphics look so cool, right? And this looks so different than regular conventional StarCraft. Really, really well done. SCV's being attacked over there in the back. It's okay.
Orders received. Repeat last transmission.
Alrighty, so we got the advanced communication array research done. We also saved the civilians over there. I think that means, yeah, as soon as we get in range there of the container, it looks like the SCV is moving on over in this direction as well. We'll have to wait until he's done extracting this. This one goes a little bit quicker though. So in a regular game of StarCraft, you can't actually zoom into an SCV nearly this far. Look at that. You don't actually see exactly what it is that they're doing, but it's very detailed.
Roger.
Alrighty. And over here in the top left, that should be our final salvage for now. Maybe we shouldn't have all left that SCV entirely alone, but I guess he'll be okay.
You gonna give me orders?
Repeat last transmission.
Alright, here we go.
On the move.
We'll just need to try and defend.
Better be good.
Now, she does have a skill called Accurate Shot. It deals triple damage to target enemy ground and air units from a very long range. So I don't really know exactly how far that is, but it's probably a while. I don't know exactly what the range is. I don't think there's any, no indicator as far as that goes. Now, I know that during this final extraction in the first mission, a very scary enemy pops up here very shortly. It's more than capable of killing a couple of troops. So I'm going to try and see if I can use my accurate shot ability on it as soon as it spawns. Okay, there it is. Nice. So that hunter killer is actually terrifying.
Go.
Alright, so container has been salvaged. Included items rather have been recovered.
Understood.
Looks like the SCV itself actually dealt some damage there as well. I mean, I guess it still has some strong drills.
Orders received.
But there it is. That should be the very first mission, or I guess technically half of the very first mission now completed, because now we also need to be defending at home. Alrighty, now in the meantime at home, at our compound, here's my marine. We didn't leave a whole lot of troops behind, so I hope we'll be okay. Not a whole lot we can really do here either. We'll just need to be careful. I guess we need to be close together and make sure we don't get overwhelmed. So this one is a little bit different. It's time-based. So you can see in the top left-hand corner, there's a timer that's currently counting down. I mean, I guess I can increase my sight radius by turning on my lights. Maybe we can patrol as well if you want to, but probably not particularly useful. We just need to try and not lose too much. Now, if it's just Zerglings, we should be okay.
Who wants some? Of course. Yes, sir.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have a medic in training, right? So, as soon as we have a medic available, that would probably be a good idea. Like, to have a medic here into the mix as well. Someone who can heal our troops back up to full. Should be able to finish that off. There you go. Not too concerned about it. Oh, there's a Hydralisk again. My unit is taking some damage, but so far we're okay. Infested Marine over there dealing some damage as well.
That's fine.
Maybe that's one of the old civilians. Oh well. Is there gonna be a final big wave? A couple more Zerglings, but I think we should be okay. Alright, nice. So we need to eliminate any remaining threats, but pretty sure
Go, go, go. Sure.
we're gonna be okay here. Oh, okay. Oh, these are Banelings though. We gotta be careful. These are the... Oh! Alright, I was gonna say, these have really big bellies. I don't know what's inside of it, but I figured as much. Nicely done. Good control there. Alright, so we've successfully defended the compound. That means we can start preparing for the second day. Now, by the way, as you can see in the bottom left, it does have a saving game feature, which is awesome because that means if you can defend one of these days, right, and you can get the same party of people together once again, you can continue on it where you've last left off. Which is really cool too, because some of these custom games do take a very long time to complete. Alright, so here we go. We have successfully completed the mission. We managed to obtain the access keys, and along with them, we have full control over the second satellite hiding in the nebula, which was luckily overlooked by the Zerg during the initial assault. The satellite will provide us with a network of sensors, but we need to improve our radio array station first to receive the signal. We need to produce more SCVs and train people to use them. We cannot rely on only one unit of this type. Alright, so items gained from the salvage containers. We have a couple of different things that we just got, which is nice. We've got some additional resources as well. We saved civilian David Kelly. So I think we might be able to train him as well, which would be great. Unit has been trained. Okay, so that's Sarah. And she's awaiting orders. Unit is available in the squad panel. Alright, so here we are once again. Got a couple of different research points available. Don't really know exactly which things should take priority, to be honest. Probably armor, right? Armor is probably not a bad idea. Vehicle plating, medical armor, or marine armor. Let's get a medic armor as well, sure. So if I put another point in this, at level 3 it unlocks tier 2 in the crafting menu. So I'll go ahead and upgrade this one twice. Then we can try and get some new improvements right here for our units. Alrighty. So, let's see. My inventory currently, I do have that superior combat shield. Nice. I've got stim pack over here. I've got a Gauss rifle and a chain gun. For now, I think we're gonna head on over to the crafting menu and we'll be having a look right here at the gear that's available. So let's spend some resources right here on that refined armor. Let's make 2 of those. I'm gonna go ahead and make a medic armor as well. And that's, well, basically all of our resources gone. I could make another combat shield. No, actually, I barely cannot afford that. I could trade some resources with my allies as well, if I really wanted to. Alright, so Sarah. Sarah, I got you the medic armor over here. I can also give you a slightly better Gauss rifle. Okay. Ruth. You can't actually equip any of that gear, can you? I can give you a slightly better Gauss rifle as well, though. Daryl over here, you've got the shotgun right now. I can give you a chain gun. Maybe not so bad of an idea, but let me put on your gear. There we go. Did it actually change the model over there too? I'm pretty sure it did. We can give him the stim pack upgrade too. And I do have the combat shield available, but I think... you know what? If we give him 1 combat shield... So this is a personal protective device, increases the user's resistance to physical types of damage, allows Marines to use the heavy stander ability. Okay. I think I'll keep the medic as a defensive tool. And then Daryl can have the shield because he's gonna be on the offensive. I think that's probably a good idea. Is there anything else I can equip on these? I don't think so. No. Oh, obviously, before I forget, I need to give him the refined armor improvement here as well. It is said that Emerald Lake hides dark secrets. According to data, mining operations took place near the lake, but crew never returned home. It is very possible that valuable materials are still there. Nice. Huh. Nice. He got a sniper rifle for one of his Marines. Alrighty.
Gotta sit, Rep.
So, here we go.
Affirmative.
Capture the cloaking core from the aircraft derelict.
Ghost in the fog.
So this is Rextor's SCV right now, so previously it was a neutral unit.
Copy that.
You can see, by the way, he's got the shield. I love actually that these units have a Zorkian logo on it. Oh well, it's okay. Oh, that's a Banshee. Look at that.
That's fine.
That looks so pretty. I haven't seen this mission yet. I've got a feeling this is one of those games where it's accidentally all of a sudden 4 AM. I want to show you a couple different game modes today, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool custom games available, and this is certainly one of them. You can also see that it's, like, even though it was called Emerald Lake, right? There's a very obvious fog right here on top of this lake, so Emerald made it sound very pretty, but it's rather ominous. Oh, wow. I wasn't paying attention there for just a little bit, and that Hydralisk just killed one of my units. We need to get out of the water. Alright. Yeah, found that out the hard way, didn't we? Oh no. My strongest unit. With the combat shield and everything. He just ended up getting picked off. That Hydra was all of a sudden extremely fast.
On it. On the move.
Alright.
Orders received.
Well, that means I only have my ghost right now remaining. She looks like a ghost anyway.
Commencing operations.
Need to be very careful.
Copy that. Copy that.
So we will need to finish the extraction right over here in the center eventually.
Operations. Orders received.
It's just a little bit scary because there's only so many so many units that we now have remaining.
Go. Out with it. Copy that.
All right.
Gotta sit, Rep. Orders received.
Oh, there's the Hydralisk. No! That's pretty bad. I just lost both of my troops. Oh, that's not good. That Hydralisk is extremely strong. Hydra's OP confirmed. I think I found the Hydra. There's a waste of unknown substance. The waste of unknown substance, some dead creature lies next to the barrels. I don't know if that is the Hydra that tried attacking us, but looks like we, well, I'm gonna be able to press the end mission button, but I'm not even here. Anyways, it looks like we have successfully obtained the victory. Alrighty, so the last thing that I want to share with you of Before Darkness Falls is once again the compound defense. Now you can see that already this is a lot more aggressive than it was previously. Luckily for me, can you heal him as well, actually? Can you heal allies? Yeah, he can. Nice. Or she can. She does have a little bit of a percentage bar right there below below her health bar. But anyways, the medic can now go ahead and heal up the troops too, which should hopefully buy us enough time to defend, even with the small group of units that we have available right now anyway. Alrighty, so only a couple of seconds remaining on the compound defense, and would you look at that? We have some roaches right now into the mix as well. Very nice.
Say again.
Even though the Marine over here got attacked,
Confirm that last.
our medic patched him back up to full, which is fantastic. Alrighty, so we managed to defend the compound. So, Before Darkness Falls, very different from Direct Strike, but a lot of fun. Highly recommend you go ahead and check it out as well if you're interested. Once more, you can just simply install StarCraft II. It's a free-to-play game. Go into the arcade and then search for Before Darkness Falls and give the game a try yourself. Alright, and the final map that I want to share with you today is called Line Tower Wars Reforged. This is a classic tower defense game that you may or may not have played once upon a time because it's been around for a very long time. It's obviously played in Warcraft III Reforged, that you may have already guessed by the name. And in this game, you don't just produce towers. Actually, oh, I was talking so much that I already leaked a couple of units here, which is not ideal. But you don't just make the towers, you also send the creep. So, the units that you're seeing on my side of the screen, close to my towers here, are sent by the player on my left. So in this particular case, that's gonna be Maynor. However, at the same time, I can send creeps to the player to my right. So currently I'm producing a bunch of these Frost Wolves, and they're being sent right over here towards Knives. As you can see, Knives already is starting up a bit of a different pattern than I am. I'm building like a zigzag pattern going horizontally, but it looks like he's going vertically. And luckily for me there, I got a couple of the lives back. Now this is a free-for-all, so the final player to be alive with some towers remaining and some lives remaining is going to be the one who will ultimately obtain the victory. Now the reason why we want to be sending creeps towards our opponent, right? Because you may have already guessed I get money whenever I kill, you know, any of these creeps that are being sent towards me, is that any of the creeps that I sent also permanently increase my income. So in the top right, you can see a little timer counting down here constantly, which indicates when I'm going to be able to get my new income wave. So on the screen here, you can see the amount of lives available, but also the income that the different players have. So I constantly want to be able to just barely defend these waves, while simultaneously sending as many troops towards my opponents as possible as well, so I can therefore permanently increase my income. So I'm currently sitting at 86 income over here. You can see that already there's someone at over 100. That's, I think, what we're ultimately aiming for. We want to try and, get more income than the opponents, so we can ultimately send better creeps as well, but also build better towers ourselves. So it's a delicate balance we're constantly trying to strike, where we just want to be able to barely defend. Because if we are able to barely defend, we can send more of our troops towards the opponent instead. So you can see right over here, there's a couple of very powerful troops in the front. Probably won't be able to kill those, but I think that's okay. My lives, though, are currently at 24, so we do want to be at least a little bit cautious. Not a huge deal. Let's just continue sending out more and more troops. Sending out a couple of spiders right now as well. They're surprisingly powerful. Now you can see the pattern he's making, actually. It's pretty cool. I'm stealing some lives back as well. So the ones we're losing, not a huge deal. Now, obviously, since this is a tower defense game, we can upgrade our towers, right? So I can, for example, upgrade these very basic archers towards gunners instead. They're basically more powerful versions of the same unit. So right now, I'm putting those in the center just because those probably will have more surface area, right? So they will fire more often. Oh. Apparently those orcs worked quite well there, so my opponent has decided to send another massive wave of those instead. I like the idea. Let me try and zigzag them here back and forth, because I don't want to lose too much here. Yeah, it's probably okay. Yeah, he's stealing a few lives of me though, which is unfortunate. Alright. Now, currently we're still sending all of the creeps from the very first tavern over here, but eventually we're going to be able to send a phoenix, which is tons and tons and tons of gold. We're not even remotely close to being able to afford that. Let me just upgrade a couple more of my towers and continue sending out a couple more troops as well. So I think I'm going to go with the swordsman. There we go. Quite a few of them available. Now, you gotta always be cautious, right? So if I'm now seeing that my opponent is not sending a whole lot of troops my way, maybe I need to be careful here, because it might mean that he's saving up to go for a double wave very soon. I don't know if that's what this is, but it is one of the things you always have to keep in mind, right? I think I should be able to kill these relatively easily, because he's actually now sending the spiders. They're a little bit before the Fel Orc grunts over here, a little bit weaker than those units that we saw earlier. We're currently still stealing lives right here from the player who goes by the name of Knives. If he ends up getting defeated, I will start facing off against Stratovarius over here instead, who's going to be the next player to my right. So far, it looks like I'm defending just fine. Very nice. I think for now, we'll just focus on the very basic towers, and I think that will do... Yeah, I think that will do just fine. One unit that I quite like is called the Shades. So that's these guys right over here. They don't actually go through the path. Like, they're not going to be able to achieve very much in this particular game. But they don't go through the actual paths. They just fly over everything. Okay, let's see how the rock golems go. Okay. So far, things are going quite well. I have 37 lives. My income is not particularly high, though. I've been forced to spend a lot of my resources on upgrading my towers. You can see some people over here are already at a very, very high amount of income. A couple of those troops are sent towards me as well. Not really too concerned about those. There we go. So what's my income at right now? Okay, so I passed the 1,000 mark, but I'm already starting to fall behind here compared to some of the opponents. Gotta be very cautious. I don't think we really concern ourselves with upgrading the towers at this point. I sent some pretty powerful troops right over here to knives. So maybe I'm gonna be able to sneak through here. Nah, not quite. That's okay. But yeah, you can see that we run into some trouble here in the long run if we don't continuously improve our income, right? So currently we're not doing so bad, though. One thing I can do is make a demolition machine here, which is quite a powerful troop for the very first tier. I'm currently sending those out. And basically what they do is they can destroy structures over here at the front. Now, I don't think they're going to be super efficient in this game, but you can see, well, they still improve my income. If I can destroy some of Knives' towers, that is not a bad idea at all. Actually, the same is happening right now on my end, which I don't appreciate very much. Okay, looks like we're going to be okay. You can see income is improving rapidly at this point for pretty much everyone. Apparently, Star is already sitting at 6,000. Wow, all right. So we can start thinking about getting units from the second tier here. One thing I can do as well is I can research different kinds of towers. So I just unlocked the fire tower, for example. Pretty useful. I'll try and put a couple of those at the front. He's actually been destroying a lot of my towers here, which is really bad for me. I can now make a fire pit, which is a more powerful tower. To deal a lot of damage. Let's continue sending out troops towards the opponent as well. Ooh, a couple of raids. Basically the next tier. Similar unit. Very strong. Very expensive as well, for what that's worth. The raids here also float over my existing towers. You can see over here, these towers now, actually, they don't hit air, right? So, a couple of lives were stolen from me. Luckily, I still have some left over from my very first opponent. Only a handful of players actually remain right now. Once again, these towers are scary. Let me try and upgrade all of my existing towers again. Gotta spend my money here. Oh, I actually didn't realize that I killed Knives already a little bit earlier. I've been so focused on my own base that I haven't really been paying very close attention to that, huh? Okay, so I currently have 45 lives remaining. Not bad. I can also put some of these discs down. These discs are actually really cool as well. So I can essentially make these different traps. So I can put those in the route that these enemies usually walk, and they deal damage when they use it, or they walk over them, which is not to be underestimated. Alright, so we're a little while later. I'm still doing a pretty good job killing most of the troops that are being sent towards me. It's just that, compared to the others, I mean, other than Minor, I don't have that much health. I'm trying to constantly send the big units towards my opponent as well, but he's easily cleaning all of those up, so it's not going particularly well. I can continue upgrading my towers here. It's not a bad idea. They're pretty powerful. They don't mess around. I think I really need to try and increase my income some more, so I'm currently at 22,000 almost, which is actually the least of everyone. Well, I guess now it's for sure the least. They're all, well, more than doubling me right now in income, which is really, really bad. I think we might be getting to the point where I just can't hold on anymore. Yeah, he's just sending wave after wave after wave after wave of units. I'm spending everything right now on upgrades, though. The problem is if I keep doing that, it's not gonna go much better for me. So interestingly enough, Stratos still is just mostly sitting on the same type of towers here, which is not a bad idea at all. Right now there's a bunch of siege engines over here at the front, and this is awful for me because it's destroying my entire line of cannons at the front. not a whole lot I can do about this right now. I mean, I could put down traps to prevent it from happening again, or at least make it a little bit harder for it to happen again. Maybe I should go ahead and repair. But I think at this point it might just be a lost cause though, because there are so many troops that are being sent towards me. I still have quite a few lives remaining. It's just that I'm looking at their income. Look, look at this. He's got way more resources than me. He's gonna be able to get the tier 3 creeps. Well, I think he actually already has been. Yeah, he's been sending those my way. It's a big problem. All my most expensive towers are getting destroyed here at the front, which is just terrible for me. And he's not done yet. Okay. Eventually, we managed to get rid of all of the siege engines. Looks like he is dealing with the same problem at home right now, so maybe we can have a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, those are just fine. Not really too concerned about those enemies anymore. Ah, the Magnitors are not even doing so awful, though. Yeah. Look at his income going up right now as well, like crazy. He just improved his income by like half of my total income in just a matter of seconds. So he's got a beautiful layout over here as well. Looks really cool. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. The raids have arrived. I've got a lot of towers that cannot shoot up. Alright. He stole 1 life. 1 life is fine. The problem is when I have none remaining. He keeps stealing 1 at a time. I spend a lot of resources on these towers that cannot be used to attack up. And since all of my fire towers at the front are gone, he keeps chipping away over here at the lives that I do still have available. Okay, those siege engines once again. Oh, I'm stealing lives! I'm stealing lives! Fantastic. Okay, he's actually got a lot of very low tier units, so maybe we can start sending some siege engines his way as well. I'm gonna send them as soon as my timer is about to hit 0. I hope that that is gonna be okay. Here we go. He's got very cheap towers, actually. Maybe I should have been doing this all along. I noticed a little while ago. Oh my. I'm losing tons of life right now. I said it earlier, right? That he had a lot of the early game towers available still. I should have definitely considered just immediately switching towards those... Yeah, those towers that can destroy his things. Can I upgrade these still? I need you guys to destroy these. Ah, you know what? It's not going so terrible. It's just that they're at the very end of the map. Oh, he just stole 9. Oh, no. Massive amount of tanks once again at the front here. I have 17 lives remaining. They're going past my most powerful towers right now. Most of them will be killed. Oh, my. I should have tried to never fall behind in the earlier stages, right? I ran into some problems. Actually, apparently the Ravaging Ghouls do not do so poorly here either. I have 2 lives remaining. 2 lives in a dream. Maybe my ghouls can make it through. I am sending some of my troops through right now, though, so maybe I can steal lives here, which would not be bad. I have 4 lives at this point, but I'm losing them pretty quickly. Oh, I still have 2. Still have 2. Still have 2. And sadly, that means that I am gonna go out in 3rd place. But it gets very, very intense here. Oh, apparently everyone else was still in the game as well. Well played right here. Alright, so I hope this gave you a little bit more information about the different arcade games that are available in StarCraft II and the variety of custom games that are available in Warcraft III. If you want to specifically check out the ones that I played here today, you can go ahead and log into StarCraft II for Before Darkness Falls and Direct Strike, and in Warcraft III I checked out Aligned Tower Wars Reforged. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to the custom games community for all of their enthusiasm and all of their creativity over the years. I'm excited to see what's going to be coming up in the future. But my name is Loco, and thank you for watching.